You are now listening to Hoardganize with professional organizer and extreme cleaner Rachel Seavey. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Rachel shares organizing tips and hacks. Rachel combines her experience, expertise, and compassion to help people learn new methods on how to deal with overwhelming clutter. Her media appearances include The Hoarders Show, the CBS Sunday Morning Show, and the Lady Brain Show. Take it away, Rachel.
Hey, collectors. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hoardganize podcast. I am your host, Rachel Seavey, and today's episode is all about email clutter. I'm so thrilled to have an expert on this matter featured on today's show. I'd love to introduce you to Emily Parks. Emily Parks is a productivity consultant who founded Organize for Success in 2007. Emily helps busy professionals and corporate teams best utilize their limited time to drive desired results. This includes streamlining the organization of their workspace, making workflow processes more efficient, adding delegation as well as strategic planning and correctly implementing the most appropriate tech tools, no matter whether for PCs, Macs, Androids, iPhones, Evernote, Outlook, and much more. Additionally, Emily is an Evernote certified consultant and an instructor at North Carolina State University's Technology Training Solutions Center. As a graduate of Wake Forest University, Emily is a huge Demon Deacon sports fan, excited for next year's football and soccer seasons, and she is also enjoying the San Antonio Spurs' successes on the basketball court. Emily sees many parallels between successfully functioning businesses, volunteer groups, families, and sports teams alike. As your go to resource for productivity, Emily is going to give us tips to implement immediately so we don't miss opportunities and we can better juggle all of our commitments and boost our sanity. Emily, thank you so much for joining me today on the Hoardganize podcast. It is a treat to have you on the show. It's
Thank you so much for letting me.
it's no secret that I spend a lot of time with folks who hoard. And one thing that I have noticed with my hoarding clients is that they have a lot of emails in their inbox. They are usually unread emails, and by a lot, I mean 10,000 unopened emails. I'm constantly having to resend my estimates to people because they've gotten lost in the abyss of their emails. And I just wanted to talk to you about it. I'm personally the kind of person that checks their email frequently. I hate having that little notification bubble on my iPhone for any notification, but I don't know what to tell people when they have, 9,500 unread emails. Do you have any suggestions for people in this position?
Rachel, I am so glad that you asked about that because it is becoming more and more of a phenomenon. The biggest concern when someone has a large number of unread emails is what is that person missing? I have clients that will look at the first couple of lines or the first couple of sentences in the preview mode or in that pop-up notification, and they use those first few sentences to determine if that incoming email is something worth reading. However, what if the sender fills those first few sentences with some pleasantries and just kind of getting to know you sentences or seeing how you're doing before they actually get to the important information or to the heart of the matter? and the recipient then just assumes that the message is unimportant. Well, I think for anyone sending an email, the lesson learned is that you need to get to the meat of the message or the heart of the matter more quickly. But for the person receiving those email messages, I encourage them to adopt the practice of processing emails rather than simply checking emails. The idea is that you do not open your email inbox until you're ready to do something with each of those newly received messages. If the task takes 5 minutes or less, you follow Nike's advice and you just do it. If it takes longer than 5 minutes, you add that task to your running list of what must get done. If it's an email requesting your time, you go ahead and get it on your calendar. Emails that must be retained for later reference, you go ahead and move them to the retention folder upon reading it. Unsubscribe to unwanted junk mail, and move trash to your trash folder. Basically, the goal is to get your inbox as close to empty as possible by the end of each day, because keeping those emails in your inbox until they're handled adds clutter. It weighs you down with subconsciously thinking about how to respond to it, and it makes it harder to dig through unread emails to get to those new and, your quote, your proposal, your invoice that might be buried under thousands of other new unread emails. So it's a challenge. But the thing to keep in mind for anyone that is checking their email instead of processing it is that when you check your email, you're glancing at those messages received, and you come back to it later. What that means is that you've been distracted. And so you have to reread the content when you return. You've got to get your thoughts back on track. And you have to try to remember what you'd considered previously. It's completely inefficient. It's completely inefficient to dig through all those thousands of unread emails to find what needs your attention. Hence why they probably never get to your email that is important, because it's buried amongst all those thousands of what they would consider unimportant emails. But to get your email inbox from those 9,000 or 10,000 unread emails to one that could feasibly focus on attaining inbox zero, there are a couple of different options you could take. If you'd like, one option is that you could move all of those unread emails or all of the contents of your inbox into a personal folder that you've labeled old emails. That means that you're keeping these emails in your email management tool so you can find a particular message if you have to search for it later, whenever it's needed down the road. But it clears up your inbox for starting to process new messages. It enables you and empowers you to start this habit of processing emails instead of checking emails. I find that more often than not, people get into that habit of having 9,000, 10,000 or more unread emails in their inbox because they're cherry picking which messages to read. If you can get all of that clutter out of the inbox and start fresh, it's easier to know, okay, I'm not going to cherry pick anymore. I'm not going to just check the messages to see what needs my attention. I'm actually going to process what comes into my inbox. Alternatively, you could sort your inbox by the from field. So that way you can see combined messages or similar messages together. Then once you've got all the emails in your inbox sorted by from, you can more quickly sort them between tasks, appointments, items to archive, and trash. I don't really recommend deleting everything without evaluating them individually, but sorting by the from column can speed up that process significantly. Also, if you're using the newest version of Outlook, you should have a button up in that top ribbon that says Clear Conversations. When you're in your inbox and you click that Clear Conversations button, It looks through all of those thousands of emails in your inbox, and it removes earlier emails in an ongoing conversation because their content is included in the newest email of that conversation. It just clears out the clutter without you having to go through individually. You're not losing that content because it's included in that most recent email that will be saved, but it removes those earlier emails in an ongoing conversation. Then, as you apply this new habit of processing emails instead of simply checking your email, there's plenty of automation tools that you can implement that make it easier. You don't actually have to manually process every email because you could use Airmail or Boomerang or Maelstrom or Sanebox or Sorted, and that's SORTD. It's a Gmail tool, and each of these options is a great simplification tool that helps you streamline the process of going through your emails and kind of make it simplified and streamlined to save you time. Technology is great when it works, and these solutions, these automation options, work really well.
Wow, that's just amazing information. Thank you. I'm really interested in learning about this Gmail tool, this Sorted. I find Gmail is one of the mail accounts that people have the most trouble with. That's where I find an inbox that's just extremely cluttered because people are used to folders and there aren't any folders. And so knowing that there's a tool out there that can help people, I'm definitely going to check that out and spread the word on that.
Excellent.
What about getting another email account? I think that is people, especially my people's kind of band-aid. They're like, oh, I'm maxed out on my email. I'm just going to make a new one. And so they're checking, or, well, they're not processing, they're checking multiple email accounts and forgetting who they gave what email account to. And it's really a mess. Do you have any suggestions for people that have multiple email accounts? Should they just consolidate them, or should they separate their business from personal? Or
I absolutely have ideas about this because it is extremely common for people to have different email addresses for different volunteer hats that they wear, different jobs. So they may have an email address for their full-time job and a different email address for a side job that they have or a hobby that they may do. And the more email accounts that someone has, then the more places they need to check for new messages and the more accounts that have to be maintained. Still, it can be nice to segment off sales emails, subscriptions, and personal communications when you're really working to focus on your work's big projects. So with that in mind, I do often recommend that folks have a personal email address in addition to a work email address. But keep in mind that you don't want an excessive number of email addresses. It's helpful to keep your options open about whether you want to read all of your emails in one combined inbox, or if you want to segment them out and maybe have your personal emails inbox or your business inbox. And there's tools that are called email management tools like Outlook or MacMail that offer the ability to add in multiple email accounts to the same email management tool. And then you have the option of viewing all your inboxes together as one inbox, or you can view them separately. There's a song from years ago that talks about one is a lonely number. I believe that one is a very powerful number when it comes to productivity. And so being able to have one inbox where you can view and sort and process all of your messages at one time is a quick, easy way to power through that process. it's kind of like activity breeds activity. So once you get started processing through those emails, you can more quickly power through all of them. But there is a time and a place, particularly when you're under deadline or crunch time, that it's important to segment off those work emails. So it's nice to have options. I would encourage people to have just a couple of email accounts as needed, and then cull them together in one of those email management tools that allows you to choose whether you want to view your inboxes together or separately, and then test out which option works better for you. Do you like to view them all in one inbox? Do you like to view them separately? Or is there a time and a place for both? Maybe you look at them together when you're really trying to power through them quickly, and you look at them separately when you're under deadline for work and have to focus in on your work project. Options are good.
Absolutely. And I like the idea of having all the emails combined into one inbox. I could see that being really helpful even for myself. I have a couple of email addresses that I'm always having to check, so I'm going to look into that. And you know, I've gone through some of their emails, just kind of scrolling through, and I have to say that 95 at least percent of these emails are sales advertisements, Amazon, Old Navy, Blockbuster deals, whatever it is, they are saving them. And then when I say, well, why don't you just delete it? It's almost as if they're missing a sale. And so I'm not quite sure if you have any suggestions for people that think they might be missing a sale if they delete one of these advertisements.
There's a term for that, and it's called fear of missing out. Folks often shorten it down to FOMO, for fear of missing out, but it is definitely a real thing. And if someone subscribes to all those email subscriptions via Gmail, Google Apps, Outlook.com, which includes Hotmail, MSN, or Windows Live, Yahoo, AOL, or iCloud, they can visit unroll.me. No need for www or anything like that, but just unroll.me. They enter their email address, and it will find all existing subscriptions, everything. Almost everyone I've been through this process with is just amazed by all the subscriptions out there, because you order something online, you subscribe to their email list. You want to read a website's news, you subscribe to their email list, all these different email lists. So you go to unroll.me, you enter your email address, as long as it's one of those email addresses I listed, and you can choose what you want to do with each of those subscriptions. You get three options. First, you can choose to unsubscribe completely from that subscription. Right there from unroll.me, it will take care of that unsubscribing for you. Second, you could choose to continue to get it when it's sent to you real time as an individual email, just like you're doing right now. Or third, you can choose to cull those subscriptions together, whichever ones of the individual subscriptions you choose, into what Unroll Me calls a roll-up. I like to refer to it as a bundle of all your emails. And it's delivered as a bundle into your inbox at whatever time of day you designate, one email per day that includes all of the designated subscriptions. So instead of getting 100 emails a day from all the individual subscriptions, you get one email into your inbox that can be processed way more quickly than all of those individual emails coming in individually. It is fabulous. Alternatively, if you'd like to continue getting each of those individual emails as it's sent to you, you could create a rule for each one of those email senders. And in that way, you can tell it whenever XYZ vendor sends me an email, I do not want that email going in the inbox. I want it to bypass the inbox and go directly to this retention folder. That personal folder could be subscriptions, it could be shopping, it could be whatever you want to name that folder, but you read your subscriptions from that folder when it's convenient for you. In other words, you take control of your email instead of your email taking control of you. It's your choice how you'd like to structure that, but it's nice to know that you have the power. Or finally, there is always the option of unsubscribing from those emails and depending on mobile apps instead. If you depend on the mobile apps, you're not missing out on the information, but you actively go to the mobile app to get the information when it's convenient for you or when you need those offers, instead of when the vendor wants you to see the offer. I find if someone has a really bad shopping habit, this is a great way to kind of quiet those voices that go, oh, you need this, you need that, because you're only going to the mobile app when you need something and seeing if there's a deal related to that something then. Many stores have exclusive offers on their mobile apps that don't appear anywhere else, which makes it a great way to save money while not cluttering up your inbox with all these different emails. But if you're looking for apps that are coupon focused rather than store focused, you could look at coupon apps on websites like thecouponsApp.com or snipsnap.it. Either of these coupon apps are great ways to cull together the coupons that are important to you, your shopping needs, and your particular habits. But it also puts you in power of where you get your information, when you get your information, and where it's adding clutter to your life.
That is really powerful. I love taking control of your emails. That's just a great thing to do. If anybody wanted to contact you directly, Emily, or if they had any questions or wanted some coaching, what services do you provide and how can people find you?
Rachel, I'm so glad that you asked about that, because each day we are gifted with only 1,440 minutes. And I partner with busy individuals to help you make every minute matter. Via my website at organizeforsuccess.biz, you can connect with me on social media or link over to my blog posts, which are rich with free tips and tidbits about implementing the best resources, whether it's technology or processes, for driving your desired results. We all have things we have to accomplish in our 1,440 minutes. It's important to invest those minutes with a good return on that investment. Then, if you're seeking one-on-one consulting to make sure that you maximize the resources for your specific needs, you may want to consider my Pit Stop package or my technology tune-up, where I work with folks directly to ensure you are utilizing all the available tools to help you organize for success. You'll also notice that I've got some ebooks that are available in my store, and I can customize solutions, whether it be public speaking or consulting package, directly for your specific needs. So I encourage everybody to visit organizeforsuccess.biz.
Thank you, Emily. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast. Hopefully I can have you back again if you don't mind, because electronics are one of the top hoarded items that I see. And getting a good grip on electronics and, of course, productivity is great for my listeners. So I'd love to have you back. And thanks again for being on the show.
Rachel, it was absolutely my pleasure, and I would love to join you and your listeners again whenever you have an availability.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this amazing podcast featuring Emily Parks. You know how to reach her. Please go ahead and log on to her website and check out all that she has to offer. If you're watching this interview on YouTube, please feel free to click the like button. I would really appreciate it. You can also comment or be a subscriber. Thank you so much. And remember, collectors, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
Thanks for tuning in to Hoardganize with Rachel Seavey. Listen every Sunday at 6 p.m. or watch on Collector Care's YouTube channel. Rachel is the owner of Collector Care Professional Organizers and Extreme Cleaners located in sunny Northern California. Her passion is helping those overwhelmed with clutter, and she regularly speaks to families, local agencies, and the public about chronic disorganization and hoarding disorder. Her popular Affirmations for Collectors download can be found on iTunes or Amazon. Sign up for her blog and receive 7 tips for clutter-free living at collectorcare.com.